preparing. Got it. It's setting up and preparing still. All right. I hope. Yeah, I think it did work. If you go to check us on on Instagram, it definitely cuts off half of our body. We got to figure out how, or I got to figure out how not to do that. But
Yeah, what's up with that? It's fucking weird.
yeah, it seems like we are live everywhere. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. The Great Two
Hello.
Live. If you're wondering why we're not live on YouTube this week, it's because they are taking down our episodes for medical misinformation or some other BS like that when we're not giving out any medical misinformation. So I just want to let the
Ugh.
audience know that they're literally stifling free speech. And I'm in the process of trying to fix that with them, but it's a pain in the ass. And eventually I might just say, F YouTube, and we'll be going strictly on Rumble or wherever. I
It's,
mean,
it's
we're on all,
indicative of the state of affairs in this freaking country or this world for that matter. It's like
yeah,
government propaganda is forced down your throat. And then
crazy.
if you say anything against it, you're taken out.
Yeah.
It's these big tech companies fucking just play along with it. It's unbelievable.
The fact that you can't have an open discussion and talk about certain things is crazy. We do
It's
live,
insane.
yeah. I mean, we do live in the United States of America. So freedom of speech is somewhere in our rights.
It's number one, followed by number two.
Yeah. I'm going to take a number two on YouTube because they're, I just don't like it, dude. It feels like, it feels wrong to me. And it
So
should
it is wrong. It's fucking inherently wrong. Especially when you're not saying anything that's not true.
exactly.
It's complete truth. The vaccine doesn't work. It
Yeah.
didn't work. As time went on, the effectiveness was 100%, then it was 85%. It just went down and down and down. It's like, well, no shit, didn't work at all.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
can't. You're not allowed to say that on YouTube. I mean, come on, it's just nuts.
When you can't say true things somewhere, there's inherently a problem in my eyes.
Yeah. Well, you should be able to say whatever you want, unless you're inciting violence or riots. But
Right.
you know,
Right.
not you can't say
Um,
fire in a movie theater. Great, great.
right. 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 Fire in a movie theater. Just said it.
Can't say
uh,
fire while in a movie theater.
there you go. I want to let people know I'm excited, man. I was asked to be a godfather to my lovely nephew who's about 9 months old. Uh,
Nice.
yeah, I'm excited. An actual godfather. So you need to give me some respect.
Hey.
We have a fun show, guys. We have Mr. Larry Hankin coming on, and I figured what better time than December for this lovely man? Because I mean, he's been in everything, but uh, Home Alone is one of my favorite movies. I watch it at least once every Christmas. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, if not multiple times. And I just got mad questions for him. So
Yeah,
that,
I mean he's freaking prolific. I mean, he's been in the business since I think what 65 or something like that. He was in
yeah,
Second City, the comedy group. I mean, he was in Escape from Alcatraz with Clint Eastwood back in. I mean, so many movies and TV shows. Breaking Bad, El Camino, the Breaking Bad movie. I mean, so cool.
yeah, totally cool. And he was doing comedy when Lenny Bruce was doing comedy and like changing the game up and talking personal. And uh Larry, like, I think stopped doing it because he was like getting arrested for cursing on stage. So I want to talk to him about that. I mean, we're talking about our free speech being violated. That's really violating back.
Well, yeah, they were using the police, and now you just get canceled.
Right, right. Now they take away your income before they put you in jail.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, lovely.
but there's a bunch of stuff going on in the world. Did you see
Well,
that?
I
God,
think the craziest thing going on in the world is that feminists now are allowing people to be raped by Hamas because they're oppressed. I mean, can you
wow.
fucking believe? Do you believe what feminism is now in our day in this day and age? It's like men and like biological men in women's sports. That's cool, and
Yeah,
then it's cool if you are oppressed persons to rape women. Okay, sounds great. Hashtag me too, motherfucker. Like, what the hell is? It's like upside down world in
it's
this
crazy.
place.
I haven't met one woman, and although they're out there on the news and social media, I haven't met one woman personally who is okay with biologically born males to be competing in sports with biologically, made women. I have not met one that's okay with that.
It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah,
None at all. But
at
yet you
all.
have feminists that are fucking for it.
Yeah, it's
I'm
crazy.
like, what? Like even what's Rapinoe, the freaking the soccer player chick. She's like, oh yeah. It's funny. She's conveniently retiring, but she's cool with men playing in the sport now.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, a 15-year-old boys team beat like the pro. I think it was the pro women's team.
I mean, I could see it. I mean, because if you look at the WNBA versus the NBA, I mean, there's a clear and like it's a very defined difference
Yeah.
on how they perform on all that stuff.
Wasn't Chappelle made a joke about LeBron going and playing in WNBA? He scores like 8,000 points a year.
Right, right.
It's like,
Now, if like the thing is like biological women are saying, well, you can't say that physically all the men are better. Okay, maybe I can't, but I could say that 95% of them are. Like if this was a thing and it was a battle of brain power, then by all means, biological males, biological women compete all you want because women are probably way smarter than men to begin with.
well,
But
from a skill level, I think some of them could be, at probably at a level playing field.
right,
Is it physically though? I mean, women just aren't men physically. Sorry, it ain't
right.
happening.
Yeah,
You don't have the strength, they don't have the build, they don't have the speed. It's just different.
right.
Sorry.
Like if you look at the fastest woman in the world compared to the fastest male, I would think there's like seconds between and like a bunch of them. It's not just like
Yeah,
you know.
it's the
Any
whole reason we have women's sports.
right, right. Yo, Chad, did you see the beam? You remember that old school picture from like the 20s or 30s or 40s or 50s where the guys are just on a beam, like making maybe even the Empire State Building, I'm not sure, but they're eating their lunch just on a beam, like a
Oh yeah,
thousand.
that is the Empire State Building being constructed in New York. Yes. Yeah.
So
What about
Rockefeller
it?
Center now, just you go up to the top of the rock and you sit on this beam and it goes up on a platform and then spins around so you can recreate that scene, but you're overlooking New York like crazy. You're not strapped in, you're just sitting on the beam. But if you fall like 5 feet onto the roof, but it's still creepy. You got to check it out.
But you can fall.
Yeah, I mean, you're not strapped in from what I see.
That's not going to last long. So some fucking jackass gets on there and falls off. That's crazy though.
It's crazy, man.
Wow. They
I'm
have huge liability for that.
Yes. So here, Bobby's pulled it up actually. Bob, is this the is there a video of it? If you go to Google or whatever you use and just type in the beam at Rockefeller Center, it's crazy, dude. I'm watching it happen. Yeah, the beam, Rockefeller. Just try that feller ER. You're thinking of Rockefellers and he's there we go. And then yeah, so look at this, dude.
I mean, that's cool. That's
It is
really
cool.
cool. It's
You gotta
iconic photo.
you gotta have balls to do it though.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Uh
Loading. Loading.
loading. We always have I gotta figure out something to fix this because constantly I'm gonna wait for Bob. I'm gonna take that down and wait for Bobby to get it up on his own and he can bring it. We do see you waiting there, Larry. I'm gonna bring you in a couple minutes. And I just wanted to ask Chad about this. Did you see that Russia basically 30,000 prisoners it let out to fight in a war and gave them like 6 months worth of fighting, and then if they made it, they're just free.
Oh
And
shit.
yeah, so some most of them died, a lot died, but some are made their 6 months and they're getting out now and going right back to raping, killing, burning, all that stuff. Yeah, so Chad, if you look at the photo to the right,
Yeah.
this is on the roof of the top of the rock, and it literally like I guess like air pressure or something pushes the beam up and then it spins around so you could overlook the whole city. It's crazy cool.
That is wild.
So we might
I've
have to
not heard
do
about this.
we might have to do a podcast from there. It's coming up soon.
There you go.
The Fred, that'd be great. A little publicity stunt. The first podcast done from the beam. We'll have to wear wireless mics and all that jazz.
Hey, hey.
Hey.
And then they'd be like, they'll put a fact checker on it and say, this is
Oh yeah.
fake.
Oh yeah. And did you see that there could be a possible earlier version of the Mona Lisa? Has anybody seen that?
I've not seen
Anybody?
this either. Wow.
Yeah. So
Really?
it's like very supposedly it was made by Leonardo da Vinci in 1503, and I think the other one was completed like 16, 15, 16, 15, 17, somewhere around there. But
Wow.
they're saying like I don't know because the face they're saying this is Mona Lisa whatever who was younger at the time, but they're saying like the way it's painted it doesn't have like Leo's face structure and stuff because he was real in
Hmm.
anatomy, you know.
Yes, right.
Um,
Interesting.
but it's cool. Yeah, look it up. I mean, the background is very rudimentary. She looks, uh, not as cool. But hey, if it
Where do
is,
they find this?
I don't know. It's been sold at auction before. Uh,
Oh, okay.
yeah, and I think they carbon dated. I'm not 100% sure, but it could have been, carbon dated to around the time. But then, somebody knew Leonardo da Vinci did that. They did their own version, so it's around the time. Like it was a famous commissioned painting from what I'm hearing,
Hmm.
and when Leonardo da Vinci was doing it, he was kind of doing self promotion back in the day, and it was for some king's. It was like some king's mistress who Lisa was. And it was like or at least is what Leonardo said. Like, this is a self portrait of the king's mistress, which was controversial at the time because the king shouldn't have had a mistress, so to speak. So I don't know. There's some coolness to it. I'm going to look more into it, but just checking this.
Isn't, isn't it crazy what art has become? I mean, that used to be art, it's like the Mona Lisa and
Right.
classic paintings. And now art's like someone puts a fucking square on the wall, takes a picture, and they're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
put it in the fucking museum. I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah. There's some art where I'm like, dude, I think I could do that. And I'm not artistic at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's
But
pretty wild.
apparently they're old, but the strokes and the lines and the get the hell out
Oh,
of here.
Hunter Biden is a fucking artist too. He's awesome.
I mean, I saw some of his stuff. It's not half bad. I mean,
Right.
it's just that's from a coked out Hunter Biden. I'm gonna let
Quite
Larry
literally.
in.
Cool. All right.
All righty then. So yeah, pretty exciting time. Are you ready for Christmas chat? Are you getting the kids gifts and all that good stuff?
I've been doing some online shopping. Yes.
Ah,
My
that's
my girls still believe in Santa. Shh, don't tell anybody.
oh
So they're
nice.
they're not they're 9. They'll be 10 in January. So they're still believing in Santa.
Gotcha.
Still,
Very
I got to
cool.
keep that lie going for as long as I can.
Hell yeah, dude. I mean, that's what
But
makes
it's awesome.
I was gonna say that's what makes it fun. You know what I'm saying? You gotta kind of stick with that.
They do Elf on the Shelf too. That's kind of the newer thing. So they, the elf comes every night and gives them a treat.
Larry,
Hello, Larry. Welcome.
What happened? I have no idea. I don't know how I
They don't
got.
know either.
you just appeared.
I just appeared on the screen. I don't know. I didn't touch anything.
Larry, I'm
Wow.
loving the
Weird.
long hair, man. You look great.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I like your hair is kind of cool, actually.
Chad's
I,
a rock star, so he's got the cool hair. Yeah.
Wow.
okay, Chad. Yeah, right.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Well,
wait a
thank
minute.
you.
Hey, Larry.
I don't know how to. I don't know. Okay, well, I got like a million videos on the screen right now. Okay, fine. I can handle it. All right. Fine.
We were
Like a
just
house of
speaking about
mirrors.
yeah, totally. We were just speaking about artists, Larry, and you actually do some really cool art. I see some in the background, but you have
Yeah, there and there.
Cool.
yeah. I mean, he does some cool stuff, man. If you get close to it, and if you go to what is it? Your website is Larry Hankin. Doc, I
Wait a
never.
minute. It's the art is yeah, Larry Hankin. No, the real LarryHankin.com.
Yes,
And if
and
you go to the real LarryHankin.com, yeah, that's all the art is on there. It's about 40 of them, I guess. I don't know.
Oh,
y-
very
Let me
cool.
just aim this thing better. This is
perfect.
weird.
Well, we're weird, so it works. Uh,
Okay, I guess.
Larry, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of twofold. When you were filming Home Alone, did you
Yeah.
any inkling that this was going to be as huge as it became?
No, I write about it in the book. I don't know. You know that guy? I don't know if you know. I have a book out called That Guy, and it's about all that stuff and Home Alone. Um, no, I didn't even want to do it. I mean, I turned it down several times because it's just a small little role. You know, I mean,
Right.
I they just, and I didn't even know what the role was. They just said it was 3 lines. That's all.
Ah,
They just said, "Well, we want." It's a long story, which is in the book, but they wanted me in because they thought the movie was cursed. This is true. They thought the movie was cursed because nothing was working, and they
Oh,
had,
wow.
and I had was up for one of the lead roles, and I didn't get it. So they thought the way they handled me in auditioning and turning me down and stuff, they thought that that was kind of bad form.
yeah.
Hmm.
It was uncool, but they took it to heart and they uh, pleaded with me and negotiated with me because I didn't want to do it. I got angry.
Ah,
I finally did it. So no, we had no idea that it would be as big as it. I had no idea. I mean, all I was thinking was, I don't want to do this. Why are they bothering me?
right.
And it turned out they were bothering me because they thought that the way they handled me in the audition process was a bad omen, and they were trying to get rid of the curse of them handling me wrong.
Ah,
They thought if they get me back in the movie, hire me,
right.
the curse would be lifted, which was ridiculous. I never heard of anything like that. These are grown men, and they're talking about
That's freaking wild.
producers. So I finally, they offered me so much money that I go, well,
Hey, now.
okay, fine.
That always
If you
helps.
want me, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But it was, a very small role. And so I just, I flew in. I mean, it took me a little while to do because they thought, because the curse was happening while I was there, when they hired me to get rid of the curse because they, screwed around with me.
Right.
When I got there and they started to film this little piece of me in the police department, it was going wrong. And I suddenly realized, oh my God, this is what they're talking about. The movie
Wow.
is cursed. I mean, I was convinced when I got there finally. I said, oh my God, they're right. It's cursed.
God.
I don't know if it was because of me, but holy cow. So it took us a long time to do it because of this curse thing. Things would happen, lights would break, the camera would go off the track, the camera jiggled, this, that. I mean, we had to shoot it 10 times for 3 lines. I was the only one in the in that little thing. I'm the only one. It's just a camera going like that across.
Right.
We had to shoot it 10 times, and everybody was thinking, "Oh my God, it is cursed. This is true."
Yeah.
They're all standing around going, the producers were like white. I mean, and thinking, well, what are we going to do? This is not working,
Yeah.
And then finally we just got it. And we finally got the shot. And they said, okay, get in the car, because they had hired a limo and a first class ticket for me.
Hey, now.
I mean, that's, and plus a lot of money. So they, it was finally done, and they wanted to get me back to the plane because I had a ticket. In other words, the plan was first class, get him in, limo from the airport get him in, shoot him. It'll only take 1 or 2 shots,
Right.
20 minutes the most. Get him back in the same limo. The limo didn't even leave. It was waiting outside for me.
Wow.
And then back to the airport. So the limo was waiting, and 10 shots, and everybody's going, oh my God, the curse. So finally, when they got it, I didn't want to leave because I wanted to know why it worked on the 10th, but not 9 other times. I don't know how I found out. Oh, well, no, they were just mistakes. It just was a coincidence that it took 9 shots. I mean,
Right.
that's what happened. But I demand they wanted, because they were paying me so much money, and
Yeah.
all this first class flight and a limo and everything. They wanted to make sure everything worked, because they were spending so much money for this one actor to come in and do 3 lines. It was ridiculous. So they kept on checking, and I said, because they were paying me so much money, they asked me, "Do you want anything? Is there anything you require?" Because they were treating me like a star.
Yeah.
Like I was saying,
Should.
and I'm thinking, this is 3 lines. What are they asking me what I want? I don't. It was just very confusing. So I said, "Yeah, I want to be eating a donut when I say the 3 lines." I mean, that was my big request. And I said, "I want to be I'm a cop. I want to be eating a donut."
Oh,
Okay.
I love it.
So yeah, that's where it came from. I just said, "Well, it's a cop, right?" He goes, yeah, it's a cop." They were on the phone before the shoot, and I said, "Well, okay, I want to be eating a donut, a glazed donut." And I said that at the second time. No, it's got to be a glazed donut. I want a glazed. As long as I'm asking, I might as well, get the best kind of donut. So they said, "Okay, fine." I mean, they were surprised. They said, "That's all you want? Just a glazed donut?" I said, "I have 1 glazed donut. I want to be eating it." "Yeah, okay, thank you." Okay, and I hung up, and then the next day I flew. And when I got there, the first thing I said out of my mouth, before I even said hello, as I'm approaching, I said, "You got the donut. Where's my glazed donut?"
Yes.
And they didn't want to even think about that. They were thinking the movie is cursed. We got to get this actor in, say his lines, and out of here. We got to get on. They weren't thinking donut.
Right.
So they said, "Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just get in your costume and let's just do this." They were just all flummoxed. So I got in the costume, but when I came out, I said, I want my donut. And I look at the camera. The whole thing was set up, waiting for me to get out of the plane, into the seat, and out of there.
Right.
So everything was set up. I just had to walk in, do my 3 lines, and get out of there. That's how weird it was. And when I looked next to the camera, and there was these rolling trays in bakeries, they have these things. Okay, right next to the camera was a rolling bakery tray.
Oh, wow.
And on it was 20, things. And on each level tray was 30 donuts.
Oh, my goodness.
So there was I think, the way I counted it, maybe there was more trays, but anyway, I counted 600 donuts.
Wow.
600 on this one tray. And I looked, I was so surprised. I said, "I just wanted 1 glazed donut. That's all I asked for, I was totally confused, and the producer, thinking this is a big joke.
Oh, yeah.
He said, "Well, we may have to do a second shot, second take." Ha 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 ha. So we did it, and thank God they had 300 or 600 donuts, but there was hundreds.
Right. I mean,
and so we had to do it 10 times, and thank God there was 600 donuts, because we needed 10 donuts. I ate a donut each time. I was getting sick from the fucking donuts.
yeah, you're skinny.
Glazed donut. So now here's the whole point of this story, that in the film, when you go watch it, if you ever do, families watch it every Christmas.
Same. I do all the time.
Okay, so now when you watch it, check this out. When I'm eating the donut and talking on the phone, a crumb falls out of my mouth. There's a lot of crumbs falling all over the place, They had to, sweep up each time they want to do another take. On the last take, the 10th take, a crumb falls in, and it sticks on the mouthpiece.
Yes.
Now, every kid in the world just comes up to me and says, "How did you do the crumb?" They don't care about me or the movie. They just want to know, "How did you do the crumb? How did you do the crumb?"
Yeah.
And they go, was it a wire? Was it CGA? Was it a green screen? How did you do that? Was there somebody working the crumb? No. And I wouldn't leave, after they got it. Nobody even saw the crumb during the take. It's after when the film came out and all these kids saw it, they came up to me, and everybody said, "How did you do the crumb?"
Yeah.
When somebody said, they said, yeah, we got it. And I said, well, wait a minute. Everybody laughed on that 10th take. You know, when the director said cut, everybody
Right.
laughed. But nobody laughed the other 9 times when he said cut. You know, we got to do it again. So I was saying, why did everybody laugh on the 10th take? And they said, it doesn't really matter, Larry. We got it. It's good. We got it. And everybody had seen the crumb, and that's why they laughed. And they wanted to keep that. That was like, you know, capturing lightning in a bottle.
Well, Larry,
It was a mistake, and it was just great. And everybody left, and they said, oh, that's really funny. Let's put it in the movie. And I said, no, I want to see the mistake. And they said, no, don't worry about it. Just get in the car. You got plane tickets. We got to get you out of here. Because part of the contract was I had to sleep in my own bed the same day. That was so they wanted to get me out of there. I could complain. There's no get in a limo, get him to the airport. No, and I said, no, I'm not going until I figure this out. So I went to the bakery tray, which, you know, still had some donuts left. And I checked, and I said, one of the things was the light broke on the 9th take. A light exploded right above because it was a sound stage, but it was very hot. So we all figured, oh, it's so hot, the light, but it was part of the curse, you know. We had to do it again. Right. It was in the middle of the take. So I went over to the bakery tray and I looked, and I saw the heat was so hot in this soundstage that the glaze on all the donuts were melting. It got soft. So when the donut I was eating, it was a part of the glaze and the donut that fell, and the glaze acted like glue. So it just stuck there. And the whole point was that the glue was just enough to keep it there, but not enough to keep it still. And it was on the side. Yeah. So, you know, the microphone is here. It didn't land here. It landed here. So this crumb just very slowly, hypnotically, was rolling, attached by the glaze, just rolling down the side, and it wouldn't drop. And, you know, all logic said gravity's got to make it drop, all the other crumb, but it didn't. So it was like hypnotic. That's what the kids were watching. You know, so I figured out, oh, it's the glaze. It's melted. So that's what, and I said, okay, put me in a limo. So they flew me home, and I slept in my own bed. But yeah, I explained it in the movie a little more concisely, but I mean in the book more concisely. Larry, but yeah, so can I just add one more thing?
Please, yes.
And the one thing is, it's Christmas. It's coming up for Christmas, you know, coming up 20 more days or whatever. And the book, not that one particular chapter, but the entire book would be a great Christmas present. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, I agree.
Great Christmas present. It's so, you know, it's just right on. Everybody loves it. It's got, I think, 14 or 15 gold stars on Amazon. It's pretty good. It's got great reviews. Okay, that's Larry, it. That's my
that donut story was the #1 question that everybody was throwing at me once they found out you were coming on. They're like, ask him if that just happened, if that was.
Oh, wow. Man, see, I told you, I'm not kidding around.
Dude.
Kids come, if I walk on the street and a father with his kid is walking, the kid will run up to me. How did you do the donut, the thing? How did you do the crumb?
Yeah.
Then it's not, you know, great acting, not great, you know, cinematography, nothing.
I love
it. The crumb.
It was all in the crumb. Nothing to do with you, nothing to do with shooting.
But when the movie came out, it was a big hit. So I did lift the curse. I did my job. I did my job. Whatever it was, I did my job.
Imagine they were right with that, and they had to bring you back because the movie would have been cursed.
Oh man, I got to shut this. I can't shut this off. God damn it! Oh man. And it goes. Oh man. All right, yeah, well, it'll come back on. I will come back on when this hangs up. I think. I hope.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can hear you.
We're still there.
Yeah, there's no worries. But
but you can't see me. Am I on the screen?
100%.
Yeah, you're on. Yep.
You're there.
Oh, wow.
Maybe you can't see you. If the phone call pulled up on your computer, it might have pulled away from Zoom. You might just have to click on Zoom to see.
Well, I'm on Zoom. Let's see. Well, maybe no, I'm on Zoom, but
Yeah,
we
well,
should.
everybody could see you're golden. How many
Oh, okay,
books do we
fine.
have out now, Larry? Because I know last time we spoke, I believe it was two, but how many books you on now?
I got three. I'm writing. I'm just finished my third book. I'm just finishing it right now. I'm onto the. I'm just polishing the last 10 pages, so it ends really cool.
Nice.
But that's a memoir. The Home Alone stuff called That Guy. It's called That Guy. It's on Amazon. It's a great Christmas.
title.
But that's a memoir. That's a reality. It's real. In other words, it's a nonfiction book. But this one I just finished, which is called Barnum's Journal, that's a fiction. I made it up. I've never seen this, so I thought I would write it because I've never seen it. It's nonfiction is a very small sales, book sales.
Right.
No, but not many people buy nonfiction books. The mass market is fiction.
Right.
And 80% of that mass market is women. Really strange, but it's true. So women buy 80% of the books out there. So I thought my third book would be a nonfiction book. So what I did was I made up a memoir. I made up a character like an actor, and then I gave him a life, and then I wrote his life. And it's a fiction nonfiction book. So I thought, I've never seen one. I've never seen a nonfiction memoir, but I think there must be some out there. Anyway, so that's coming out. That'll take a couple of months to come out.
Cool.
So That Guy is the one to get for Christmas.
Now, we spoke last time. Are you going to read the audio version of the audiobook? Because
I'm thinking about it. If I can get this Christmas pitch out, if I can get enough, because my publisher won't pay for the reading of the book. Oh. But it turns out that if the author of the book, any book, if the author of the book does the reading and the buyer of the book knows that it's read by the author, then it'll sell way more than if just they hire a professional reader to read it.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to read it, but it costs money. Right. So I'm going to have to see how this Christmas move does, and that'll give me enough money to do the.
So Larry, what other role were you up for in Home Alone that they didn't give you?
Daniel Stern's role.
Oh, really? Okay.
So so when I didn't get it, that role.
Yeah.
And I mean, you get roles and you don't get roles. You just go in, you do it, and either you get it or not. I don't dwell on it. You just dump it and go on to the next job. So when I didn't get it, I just okay, fine. But then they called me, a couple of weeks later, 3 weeks later, and said, "Hey, man, the movie is cursed. Daniel Stern is going to quit.
Wow.
If he doesn't get more money, as much money as Joe Pesci."
Oh, wow.
Daniel Stern was trying to act like a star. I want more money.
Yeah.
So they said, we're going to fire him. He's not worth what Joe Pesci gets. So we're going to get Larry Hankin. Now, and they told Daniel Stern that. They said, well, we have Larry is our next. If you quit, we'll let you quit.
Right.
For the money. And we're going to get Larry. So they told him that, and so he didn't quit. He said, well, because they not because of me, it's because they were going to replace him. In other words, his trick didn't work, his bluff didn't work. So he just said, no, okay, I'll work for the. So when they called me and they said, we're going to give you 3 lines because we want you in because how we handled you with the Daniel Stern thing, they said, I was insulted because, and I told them this. I said, you're asking me to be back in the movie, and the only available part is a cop to say 3 lines after I was going to co-star with Joe Pesci, according to you.
Yeah.
I said, no, that's ridiculous. 3 lines after being a co-star? No, I thought, these guys, what are they doing? They're trying to, prank me or something. So that's why I kept on turning it down. Because
Wow.
I was, I thought, hey man, I was going to be co-star with Joe Pesci and Three Line. No. So, I just playing games with them because I figured, well, what am I going to get? $200, $100, whatever they paid for 3 lines. I don't know. That's like almost the. So that's why I kept. And then finally, when they hit me with the first class and the limos and the thousands of dollars they were going to pay me, I go, well, okay.
What a great story. And to be honest, because when Daniel Stern in that role, you're like, oh, that's a perfect role for him. But then you think Larry Hankin in that role.
I would have killed.
Yeah.
But, I would have killed in every job I didn't get. That's like if I got 100, I think I found out from podcasters like you, because they do research. So they told me, several have told me that I've had 203 jobs.
Wow.
Movies, television. I have 203. But that means that I've auditioned 5 times more than that, because my average is like I get 1 out of 5. Yeah. Generally, it's 1 out of 7, something like that. 1 out of 5, 1 out of 7, 1 out of 10 that you get. So that means that 5 times 200 is what I didn't get.
Right.
So, it makes you, it calms you down. You don't think you're that big a deal.
I find it fascinating because everything I've seen you in, and I'm not saying this because you're on the show, I'm being honest, you actually add to it. Every scene that you're in, whether it's a small role or a big role, you bring a lot to the table and really amp up what's going on. So for casting directors to kind of see that in your tenure doing, auditioning and stuff, and to not have you in it, it just blows my mind. People are that.
Well, that was the only part they had left because they were 3 weeks into the movie, and they told me. Because I asked a lot of questions about the whole thing. They were into the movie for 3 weeks, and the reason that they called me was after 3 weeks of shooting, or 3 days, or they were into it. They were shooting it. After the amount of days that they were shooting, nothing was working according to them, according to the producers. They said nothing was going right. And then they came to the conclusion, the movie is cursed because we dissed Larry Hankin.
Wow.
For some reason, that became the thing, Larry. Not the other people that they didn't hire. Right. But because of this way they screwed me around with Daniel and, using my name and the negotiations and I don't know, all that stuff that I have no idea what, that stuff.
Sure. Did you see?
But let me answer the question that you raised. The point. The point is that people have told me that if you look at my 200 roles, I'm not on screen for a long time, and that's on purpose. I do that. I turn down very big roles. I turn it down, not because I don't want the money. It's because I have very serious ADHD and dyslexia. So it takes me a very long time to memorize lines. So if I see that the amount of time it would take me to learn the lines is more than the ramp up time to get to actually the shoot.
Right.
Because there is a negotiation thing with me and my old agents that said that, you can phone in if you're a big star, not me, but a big star. You can phone in and say, Larry needs a limo to be picked up. He needs to be driven to the set. He needs a cup of tea when he gets there. You can say all that if you're, like, Tom Hanks. You can say, I need this, I want this, I want to blah, blah, blah. And they'll give it to you. Okay, so I wanted to know why they were offering me all this when I'm only getting like 3 lines and they were giving me all this stuff. So I learned about that, but the lag time, I didn't have to call in and say, send me the script first for 3 lines.
Right.
But generally, when I can do what stars do, I can say, Larry needs the script first. Now, that's like something Tom Hanks would say. But because of my dyslexia, I make that demand. I mean, they don't have to meet it. They
Right.
can get somebody else.
Right.
But with Tom Hanks, no, you meet it. So I said, I need my script, early. Now, I didn't for the 3 lines. But sometimes I will see that the time I need to memorize what they're giving me, there's no way they can give me it that early.
Yeah.
2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. But once you get to 4 weeks, I'll need 4 weeks to memorize like a lead role or something like that.
Gotcha.
That's just too much time. The script isn't ready maybe 4 weeks before they start to shoot.
Yeah.
So they can't promise that. So I have to turn it down. And I do it, I mean, like, no, there's no gun to my head. I could, but when the parts started to get too big, where I saw, no, the lag time, the ramp time, it's too long. I'm going to have to turn it down.
Yeah.
So I turned it down. But that's like a coming to that point. In other words, the parts were getting bigger and bigger as I got, better and better and more known.
Yeah.
Until finally I got to a part big enough where I saw, well, the lag time is not going to be enough. So I turned it down. And then it became a habit. It's, do I have the lag time or don't I? I do. Okay, I'll do the part. I don't. Now, a lot of actors have ADHD or dyslexia, but they don't have it bad enough where they just get the part sooner,
right,
than everybody else. But they don't have it bad enough, dyslexia, that they can't meet, the lag time.
Almost, yeah.
But I'm really, I got it bad. But I mean, there's workarounds. I've never been fired, but I saw in Breaking Bad when I did the movie.
Yeah.
I saw that I had to walk around the car. And I thought I didn't need the lag time. So I didn't tell him anything. I just got it when everybody else got my part. And it was just a walk around. But it was right on the cusp of, can I memorize it in time or not? And when I got there on the set,
right,
filming, I started to go up on my lines. And Vince Gilligan sensed that something was wrong. He's not, my memory was going there.
Right.
So he said, okay, let's just take 10 minutes, Larry, just step aside, get your lines down right, which I did. And he goes, okay, you got it? I go, yeah. He said, okay, come on. And we did it. And it was fine.
Wow.
So they lost 10 minutes of shooting time. But it was a signal to me that, okay, this is the length of this. I see where I have to start turning down roles if I can. So that was and so I just decided to get out.
Yeah.
I just, so I stopped. Well, I didn't retire. I just got out for about, I think that was in 2012 or 2013, I think. I don't know, 2012. So I just stepped aside and I told my agents, I'm going to take some time off, a couple of years.
No more auditions during that time is what you're saying?
Nothing. I just hands off, I'm out. And then during that, while I'm out, my agents retired. So when I wanted to go back in, I didn't have an agent. And I thought, oh man, to get an agent is just really worse than memorizing lines. I didn't want to do it. So now I just work for friends. I mean, if you call me, I'll go, yeah, okay. But I don't do it through agents or anything. I don't have one. I'm a writer now.
There you go. But to get an agent now in Hollywood, I don't think you would have much issue. Like, it wouldn't be like when you were first looking for agents. You got a body of work that's ginormous. And
yeah, but I don't want to go through, now that I'm away and I see I got time to myself and I don't have this, the sweat, the flop sweats of, can I memorize this in time?
Yeah.
I don't have all that. I've not had it for years. I mean, and here's the bottom line, which I've never ever mentioned, so I'll tell you guys because we're at that point.
Cool.
Is I never wanted to be an actor, and I still don't. I can do it, and it turns out I can do it very well.
Yeah.
But I don't have fire in the belly. I mean, I don't want to be, um, I don't want to own a restaurant, or I
Right.
don't want to be in finance, and I don't want to be an actor. I mean, it's not that I hate it.
Yeah.
It's just it never occurred to me in my life to be an actor. That wasn't on my agenda. I wanted to be a stand-up comedian. I wanted to be a clown. I wanted to do nothing. I wanted to just hang out. All those things, occurred to me, but, well, I don't know how to do it. What's the process? I mean, I don't think so. My father didn't want. And then when I brought up, show business at all, because I was funny. I was a funny guy in public school and high school and college. I was just funny,
Yeah.
So it did occur to people, why don't you be, an actor, be a funny actor. No, never, I don't know. So when I dropped out, it never occurred to me to drop back in. And then, it was just like back in high school or college. I'm back at the beginning.
Right.
I was a stand-up comedian. I did love that. I opened for Woody Allen, and I was pretty good.
And
I opened for Woody and excuse me?
You were doing it back in the day, like Lenny Bruce times and stuff.
Yeah, I used to go to see Lenny Bruce. I mean, he was my man. He was my go-to man. I mean, I just opened for Woody because his manager discovered me. I was doing coffee house stand-up. I loved it.
Have you ever thought about getting back into that, Larry? Because
yes, I'm. That's my next move after I finish this book and get it out. I'm writing a one-man show. I used to do one-man shows when I first started acting.
Yeah.
Because I had the time. I wasn't doing acting that much. You're first starting. So you do an audition here, an audition there. So I had like days and sometimes weeks where nothing was going on. I had an agent, but, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I would write little one-man shows for myself, and I do it in these little black box theaters. There's a lot that's starting up again now. I got one here, the Fanatic Salon, so I'm going to start working there.
Once you get that fleshed out, Larry, you should really take a trip down to Austin, Texas, and go to the Comedy Mothership. Joe Rogan owns it. I'm sure he knows who Larry Hankin is. Let him know that you got this one-man show. I guarantee he'll get you in there, and you'll be back with like a big comedy scene there. It's a real big scene over there.
Really?
Oh, and I think he'd welcome you with open arms, dude.
I don't know, man. I mean, I don't dig Joe Rodolo's point of view.
That's Joe Rogan, but yeah,
Joe Rogan.
He's all over the map.
Who did I say? Joe who?
Joe Rotolo. Me.
Joe Rotolo. Joe. Yeah, whatever his name is.
Rogan.
I really don't like Texas for the same reason.
The heat. Well, yeah.
The heat.
Too. I think if you were to have a chat with Joe Rogan, you wouldn't think.
I mean, when I was doing Lenny Bruce material. I mean, cops would pull me off the stage. I mean, I had people coming at me with beer bottles.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Amazing.
We were saying, hey, they cancel you and like don't put your videos up. Back then, you're almost getting arrested for saying what you wanted to say on stage.
Yeah, I mean, well, cops either pulled me off the stage. I've had 20 policemen marked, and when I was doing an arena show for the Love and Spoonful, I was opening for rock bands back in the 60s and 70s. So yeah, when I was opening for the Love and Spoonful, 20 policemen marched onto the stage from the back of the room, marched down the aisles up onto the stage and put a hand on my shoulder very gently. I don't think they actually understood why they were pulling me off the stage. The dean of the college was Washington University in, I don't know, Alabama or I don't know, one of these southern states. The dean of the college called the police because they didn't like me saying fuck on stage.
Wow.
Shit and stuff. And I was kind of edgy. So they marched up and told me, because they were standing in the back and the audience said, do the clean stuff. They didn't, the audience, I mean, these are college kids and they didn't want me to curse on stage. It was, Texas. Where was it? I don't know. It was the South. I don't know if it was Texas or not. No, that was another thing. I've had a wonderful life, man. Do you know that this is real? It's official. The state of Texas has officially prohibited me from entering the state.
Oh,
That's real. That's down. That's a law. That's legal.
Wow. When was this?
This was in the 70s when they kidnapped, the state of Texas kidnapped my girlfriend. The cops busted her for going to Texas with a group and taking acid. And she was walking on the street at night.
Cool.
In a neighborhood, Dallas, I think, walking around late at night, barefoot, like a hippie. You know, this was in the early 70s. Barefoot, just with a t-shirt and just jeans.
Cool.
Barefoot, long hair, you know, beads. Walking in a Dallas neighborhood, and the cops pulled her over. They were going to bust her for being a hippie. Just as an excuse. Well, we're going to, blah, blah, blah. She didn't have any ID or anything. She was on acid. She just, walked out of the house that they were staying at and decided to walk around the neighborhood. And the cops pulled her over. She didn't have any ID, so they busted her. So she bit one of the policemen. So they beat her up and put her in an insane asylum. And I had to go get her from California to the insane asylum.
Wow.
A real asylum, man. I mean, I'm not talking movie stuff.
Right.
This was heavy duty. It was bad. It was bad. It was gray. So when I got there, I had it was a big deal. And so when I got her out finally with a lawyer, and oh man, it was just a big, huge thing. But the lawyer came to me at the asylum, at the I don't know, the dean of the asylum. I don't know what to call him. The boss in his office. We were in the office signing papers so they could release her to my custody to get her out of Texas. They said, we will release her to your custody, Mr. Hankin, if you promise to get her out within 24 hours. If either of you, and this was the lawyer now reading this to me, it was a document saying, I had to get her out of the state of Texas within 24 hours. If either of us were found to be within the state of Texas after 24 hours, we will both be arrested as not being wanted in Texas. I don't know what the legal term was.
Yeah,
but undesirables.
Wow.
We will be arrested as undesirables.
You were the first deplorable.
Yes, I was the first. Me and my girlfriend were the first deplorable. So I took her back to the house, and they were beating her up, man, because she had bitten the police. So she was black and blue, and they had drugged her and taken blood samples, and they had treated her really bad because she fought. I mean, she was in fact a 60s hippie who was against the government.
Sure.
She was one of the hippies.
Yeah.
So she had that attitude, undrugged and on acid.
Yeah.
So when she came down finally off the acid and she was in an insane asylum, locked up, I saw where they had her. It was awful, man.
Thank God to get her. They probably would have kept her forever and just sedated and all that stuff.
No, they said that the threat was they were going to, because I came there and I had a chip on my shoulder too. Like, hey man, who the fuck do you people think you are? But I did the whole thing. I was just wrong, totally wrong. I was out of line. Yeah. I mean, I was in Texas. I was in an insane asylum, within their grounds.
Yeah, they could.
And I'm mouthing off to them about, who do you think you people are? And they're saying, Mr. Hankin, if you don't shut up, we're going to commit you. We can do that. We can keep you for 3 days and it's totally legal. And the lawyer who I had with me, he's saying, shut up, shut up. He's telling me, keep quiet, don't do this, Larry. And he finally says, Larry, they can do that. When I turned to my lawyer and I said, the lawyer, I said, can they do that? They said, we're going to commit you for 3 days if you don't shut up.
Oh, yeah.
And I turned to him and I said, can they do that? And they said, yes, but I'm here to get your girlfriend out. And if they get you in, I can't do that. I can only do one of you.
Wow.
I pulled a lot of strings to get her out of here.
Yeah.
So if you're in, I pulled all the strings I can, man.
Yeah.
So he said, shut the fuck up. He didn't say fuck.
Right.
But he said, shut up. So I did. But that's what I was going through. I mean, Texas and Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan. You just, and that's what comes up. You mentioned those two things, and I just spewed out what came up when you mentioned their names.
Well, that's totally intense, man. I mean, they're really like throwing the book at you there, like telling you.
Yes. So I flew her, we flew back to California, but she was done, man. I mean, the things that, she couldn't talk. And I was taking care of her daughter, little 4-year-old. So all she kept on saying is, I want to see my daughter. I want to see my daughter. I mean, she had that much, but she was out of it. She was out of it for 2 days when I finally got her back to California and her daughter. I think her daughter brought her back, But then she disappeared. She disappeared a week later. Same thing. I mean, now she was really. I don't know what they did to her, or was the drugs, or the experience, or whatever. But she was not the same. Wow. Maybe she was going there and we didn't know it. And then when she, went on the trip with the people, it made it come out more.
Yeah.
Maybe the asylum had nothing to do with it. I don't know. But her parents had to come and get her.
It's just the timing is suspect because she was in the insane asylum. But you made a good point with that. Some psychedelics, some people are not meant to do. Maybe it does break them in a way that isn't. But I think for a lot of people, they're good and therapeutic. But some people, you got to kind of, know. Yeah. I got a question for you, Larry.
Yeah.
Did you?
I just got to say, years later, she turned out okay.
Oh, cool.
It took years, but she was fine. Okay, go ahead.
It was Catherine O'Hara. She starred with you in Home Alone after that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that with that, you seem like a proponent of the 60s and 70s. Was it a freer time back then? Was it?
No, it was just the same as today. It was just, this is Trump on steroids now. But it was, you can't say fuck on stage. I was busted by the police, people coming at me with beer bottles. They kidnapped my girlfriend, took her and put her in an insane asylum. I mean, come on, man. That was the 60s. Wow. That was like the late 60s. Wow. I mean, plus Kent, they shot 4 students at Kent University. Come on. I mean, I'm seeing that now.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it coming now.
Right.
I've been through it. This is a repeat. This is streaming point 2.
Not learning from our past.
I mean, it's going to get worse. That was just practice and Trump's first term.
Talk about division from, people don't look at Trump's policies or how he rants up. They just look at the way the country was divided at the time. The political climate was just insane from the left and the right. I've never, not everything is so black and white. I'm not all right. I'm not all left. I'm kind of as the situation happens. But I guess during his first 4 years, it was like real polarizing for the left to see some. My point is there's crazy right wingers out there. Like, I don't even think Trump is on that boat. Like, there's some people so far right that it's like, if they get some of his base to go along with what they're thinking, it could be a scary time. Because People are looking for change now. They're looking for something.
They're scared.
Yeah.
They're not looking for anything. They're scared. They're looking for surcease. They're scared. People are scared. I was talking to a group of right-wingers yesterday, and I just had a laugh, man. You can't talk to them. You can't, you know, I mean, another guy, but it's the same on our side. Right. I was sitting at an outdoor restaurant, and there was three of them, three Trumpers. Yeah. And we I guess, talking very loud. It was me against the three, but I was just laughing because they were so entrenched that I saw there was nothing I could say. Yeah. So I stopped. I mean, there's no argument that I could put out because they just poo-poo any argument. They poo-poo the truth. In other words, if you're telling them the truth, then that to them is hearsay.
Yeah.
Truth is hearsay. So I saw another guy about 4 tables away looking at me and saying, you know, and laughing and giving me the okay sign, like, you're right, I'm with you. And then he started to get up and come over to me to help defend me against these 3 guys.
Right.
But I didn't want to be defended. I wasn't trying to defend myself. I was instigating them to see where their heads were at.
Sure.
I wasn't defending my side. I was just saying, you know, well, tell me more about, you know. And so when he came over, he started to defend with me. And I said, get out of here, man. You don't have no idea what you're talking about. Right. And he was on my side.
Yeah.
I was telling him he had no idea what I was doing or what was going on. He was just being, you know, like, I don't know what it's called.
You were on the left, and he was like, let me come to his rescue.
Yeah, but he wasn't coming to my rescue. He was just reacting.
Right.
He was reacting, not thinking.
Larry, here's the one thing I want to say. I think that we are so polarized, left and right. It's just crazy. I feel there's so many more of us that are in the middle, and if we had these types of conversations, these long form conversations, a lot more stuff could be discussed. A lot more stuff could be exposed.
Yeah.
I think we would realize we're all very, very similar, but these politics got us thinking like we're so divided, and really we should just be talking about
everything is politics now.
Yeah.
Everything.
It sure is.
I mean, glazed donuts. I could, you know, I could go back to that time and do it all over again, but now bring Trump into it. And I could do it. You know, what do you mean there's 300 donuts? You know, that's a waste of money. Like, you know, blah, 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 government, boom, boom, you know.
Was President Kennedy hated as much as President Trump? Do you remember
that?
It
had nothing to do with anything. You know, this has nothing to do with Trump. It's just people are scared. People were scared then. People are scared now. It has nothing to do with person. It has nothing to do with reality. Kennedy, Trump, Biden, politics, war, peace, land, Mercury, you know, forests, global warming. It's just people are scared. You can hop on any train,
right,
and you can argue it. It's just people are scared and they don't know what to talk about or how to defend it because it's in the air.
Right.
You know, it's just it's just a weird time that we're going to have to either get through or not. I mean, this train has left the station. Wherever we're going, it's going there, and there's no stopping it. We'll either stop it because it's in the cards already, or we won't stop it because it's in the cards already.
Right.
But these arguments are stupid, man. Yeah. I mean, I call them ape rants. You know, you see these anthropological, you know, what was it like in caveman times and Homo erectus and Cro-Magnon.
You said Homo and erectus. I love it.
Yeah, Homo erectus. Yeah, that's us. No, we're Homo sapiens.
Yeah.
But yeah. But back then, that's what my book is about. It's about homelessness. But it's about homelessness, but I just take one guy. I lived in my car for a year, so I know about that. So I take one guy and I follow him for 1 year,
Oh, wow.
homeless. But it has nothing to do really with homelessness. What my point of the book is, I don't call people. I mention people maybe once or twice, but I don't say people. I don't say human beings. I say Homo sapiens. Whenever I refer to anybody in a group, more than two people,
Yeah.
I say Homo sapiens because that's all we are.
Right.
I mean, so the global warming is this planet shouting
Yeah.
at Homo sapiens, hey man, you're all Homo sapiens
Right.
and you're fucking with me.
Right.
And I'm going to fuck you 10 times worse.
You all breathe the same air.
You breathe the same air that you're poisoning. You drink the same water that you're poisoning. You're growing crops in the same soil you're poisoning. And you're fucking with the thermostat,
Boom.
which is, that's ape stuff, man.
Totally.
In the old days, there were these ape raids where gorillas and apes would, charge other ape things.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're doing. We haven't changed. We just have clothes on now.
Right. And better
and less hair. But these are ape raids.
Yeah.
Israelis, Palestinians, Hamas, Palestinians,
Barbaric.
Putin, Arabs, Jews, Catholics. The Bible, man, it's just a self-help book. I mean, don't get me started.
Well, Larry, now that I got you started, our show is coming to an end. So I want you to tell the audience where they could find all your books. We mentioned thereallarryhankin.com for artwork and some of his other stuff, but tell them where they can catch you on social media.
Thereallarryhankin.com, Amazon for my books. I got 2 books on Amazon. One is a fiction, one is a memoir. One is called That Guy, and that's a great Christmas present. And the other one is just a bunch of stories that I wrote called The Loopholes Dossier.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a bad title and kind of hard to remember. But a Loopholes Dossier and That Guy.
Great stocking stuffer. So if you want to go to Amazon, That Guy fit perfectly in a stocking. It's great.
Yeah.
I recommend it.
Or the fireplace.
Larry, we always love having you on. We would have went longer. We just had a hard out at 2:10, so that's why we needed to end it there. But where are you on Instagram? Is it the same thing? I'm
not on anything. When I drop out, I drop out.
Gotcha.
So I'm trying to drop in with books now, and the art, that was another chapter back in the day. But they're on thereallarryhankin.com or Amazon.
Awesome.
Very cool.
I'm glad you're exploring your other creative side, not just Hollywood and acting, but you're doing the books, we're doing the painting. You're an exciting guy, man. We'll definitely love to have you back on. We were just getting into a role, but we'll have you on again, man. We always leave the
Okay, cool.
Pleasure, Larry. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the one, the only Larry Hankin. We do apologize, but Chad and I have hard outs in about a minute. So remember, hashtag Chad Gracey hates hashtags is the key.
I love it.
Follow us at the Gracious 2 everywhere on Instagram. It's the _Gracious_2. Everywhere else, the Gracious 2. Thank you.
Oh, wow. God, I finally came back.
Yay.
I see you guys. Okay. Now I got to get out of here.
I love it.
Okay, Larry.
The one and only Larry Hankin. It doesn't get much better than that. Larry's a great guy. He's been in everything under the sun. He was amazing as Kramer on Seinfeld. He was
so much we could have asked him. I wanted to ask him about Escape from Alcatraz. Especially since he started talking about his girlfriend in the asylum. So,
yes.
Anyway, next time.
Yes, we'll have him back for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much. We are the Gracious Few. Chad, give me a second so I got to end the live stream in a couple places.
The Gracious 2. Thank you, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, JDs and gentlemen. And there.